Welcome to Business Purpose and Clarity with Petri. I'm your host. We talk about startup life, insights, practical tips, mistakes, failures, and everything between. Are you in a hurry with your business? Because that's what I've been hearing a lot from the startup founders, that when I talk with them and they have like, hey, yeah, we need to do something really quickly because the competition is catching up or we don't have much time. The way I hear that, and I think that's the way they usually mean it, is that there's an urgency to respond, act, do something in order to not miss the market or be left behind. My thoughts usually are that, okay, well, if we're doing something here which is like a profound business, meaning you have a market, you have a solid product, and the customers really need what you're doing. Maybe not all of those are in place if you're a startup in early phases, but that's the premise. That's why you're doing things, because you have a solid business case here. In that case, you're not in a hurry. Because what actually happens if you're rushing? You become sloppy, you miss stuff. You start to probably look what the others are doing and not focus on what you're doing. Because in most of the cases, nobody cares what you're doing. And it's not really a competition. It's not like a marathon where you need to compete against others and when you're in the finish line. There's no finish line. There's always new people coming. There's always new people born. If you have a market, if you have a product and you plan to be in the market for long term, what's the rush? Why don't you take your time to really validate the market, the product, the pricing, your customer segments, the whole 9 yards, everything in a proper way. I'm not meaning, in a sense that you need to take it slow. I just mean that you take the adequate time it takes to do things properly and not rush. It's not a rush job, what you're doing, if you're building a business for the long term. Like Mikke Pakvaleen in the Talk with Petri episode mentioned that the first 3 years in your company are like a desert walk. It's not really nice to walk in the desert. You don't probably have enough to drink and you're hallucinating half the time if you've been there for a long time already. So the same thing, stuff is not really working. You may not know why it's not working, what is not working. And this is the job, what you need to do. You need to figure out the stuff which is not working and make them to work so that you actually have a business to go about. Don't rush. It's not a competition in a traditional sense what you're doing. Yeah, there are market opportunities. You should take them if they are in the market, but still, rushing usually does no good for you. When I tell this to founders, I think they're relieved because a lot of the rushness comes outside. It's not that they believe it themselves, but it's like that you need to do it because the social media says, or maybe you have some investors or whatever the reasons. But if you really stop and think about it, if you're selling something people need, are they going to go away tomorrow if you're not delivering it? Well, if they are, maybe you're not doing the proper thing then, and it's not really a thing they really need. They just want to have it if it's fancy, but this is not the necessary thing. And then you have a problem with your product. And this is exactly why you need to make everything work. So just keep in mind that rushing usually does no good, but it's a delicate art to finish on the final line, which in your case, if you have investors, means that you have some deadline for the exit as well. So take your time, understand where you need to take it slow, when you really like doing testing and validating things. And there's a time when you can also pace faster, when you know the stuff is working and now you're just scaling it. It's copy pasta in a way. You already know what's working, and now it's just repeat the working stuff. Then you can run. So there's a time to run, and there's time to take it slow, but there's never time to rush.